Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of Secrets at the Café by Susan Specht Oram, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Her last request. Holding my grandmother's cold hand, I consider her request. Tears trickle down my cheeks and I wipe them away. Gigi wants me to return home and run her restaurant in the old house where she raised me. I swallow hard. I want to please her, but saying yes will change my life forever. I will have to leave the life I carved out as an artist in the city. I never pictured myself moving back to my small hometown. Gigi wheezes with each labored breath. The hospice nurse, who left an hour ago, said my grandmother probably wouldn't make it through the night. My aunt and my cousin were called away. I'm alone with Gigi as she walks her last mile. The air in the second floor bedroom is stale. A tree branch skitters across the window glass. I stand up and slide the window open. A gentle breeze blows in. Resting my hands on my hips, I stare out into the dark night. My grandmother did so much for me when I was growing up. Now I have a chance to return the gift and give her an answer that will offer peace at the end. She moans. I pat her thin shoulder and say in a choked voice, "Of course I'll run the cafe. Your restaurant will welcome guests forever." She says in a faint voice, "Find my journal. Read it." I raise my eyebrows. I didn't know she kept a journal. Scanning the room, I don't see a diary. I'll have to search the two-story house to find it. I will, I say. Don't worry. I love you. I'll run Gigi's for you. I tiptoe into the bathroom and close the door. In the pink-tiled room, I sob as quietly as I can, sucking in great gulps of air. Her request has upended my life, changing it forever. Chapter 1. Gigi's Cafe is hopping. Locals and tourists occupy every seat. I carry a fresh pot of coffee and pause to sniff the air. Gigi passed away a month ago, but her lavender scent lingers in the old two-story house near downtown. After she died, I closed for a day and posted a sign saying, "Death in the family, will reopen tomorrow." Gigi would have wanted me to serve her loyal customers and not wallow in grief. A couple sits at a two-top reading the local paper. Betts and Zirk are regulars, and they bartend at my favorite pub. I say, "Hey, you two, more coffee?" "You bet," Zirk says, wiggling a finger in his ear, "and a gallon more where that came from." I pour hot black coffee into two mugs and I can't help but overhear their conversation. Betts taps the paper open to the obituaries and says to her husband, "This says to share condolences at the family's home." I glance over her shoulder. The notice is for someone my grandmother knew. Zirk nods. A crook could blend in and case the joint, going back when no one's home. As I turn to the next table, Betts says, "It's tempting, but we won't bite." Zirk's voice cuts through the din in the room. "Nope, we left our life of crime behind." My eyebrows shoot up. I didn't know about their hidden past. I'll have to keep a closer eye on the cash in the till. But no one will steal from Gigi's. The cash register is in full view of everyone. My grandmother never worried. She trusted people. A customer asks for water, and I hurry into the kitchen, leaning against the sink. I let out a breath. My feet throb. My arches ache. I had no idea what I was getting into when I agreed to take over Gigi's Cafe. I'm in a marathon, starting over every day. Bob Brinker and his children are finishing their meal in the dining room, which is usually off limits to customers. He's wearing a gold watch and his silver hair is trimmed above the collar. They live in a gated community up in the hills. I remember him and his kids, who are about my age, from when I was in high school. I refill their water glasses. My brow furrows when I notice a built-in drawer in the wall is ajar. I haven't found time to organize Gigi's private papers or sort through her things. I must find the journal she wanted me to read. Mr. Brinker says, "More ice, please," and I say right away. Ellie Robinson calls from the parlor. "We need glasses for our champagne." She's in a black sweater and yoga pants. Her dark brown shoulder-length hair has red highlights to match her nail polish. She runs her law practice from home while raising their young daughter, Maddie, who is scribbling on a notepad. "I'll be right back with them," I say. To her daughter, I say, "I like your blue dress." Maddie looks up and gives me a smile. Her father, Kenny Robinson, owns the local sporting goods store. He tugs on a sports coat over a yellow polo shirt. His oldest daughter, Wanda, is in a paisley dress that's riding up on her thighs. Ellie says, Karina, you're terribly busy this afternoon. Is anyone helping you? My pulse pounds. Laughter fills my grandmother's two-story home, which I have inherited. Customers are waiting for slices of quiche and scones. The orders are a tsunami of demands. Throwing bowls on a potter's wheel in the city was peaceful compared to serving food. My cousin Lydia is supposed to be helping me, I say, glancing around, but I haven't seen her in about half an hour. Maybe she took a break and didn't tell me. This is a lot to take on by yourself after just moving back. I sigh. I thought I knew it all after helping Gigi for so many years, but it's a bigger challenge than I realized. Striding to the kitchen, I open the freezer and find a single ice cube left in a tray. Thanks a lot, Lydia. My cousin left a glass filled with ice cubes, so I pull that out and refill the trays with water. I wipe sweat from my upper lip and open the kitchen cupboard doors, looking for glasses for the Robinsons. My jaw drops open. The shelves are bare. All the glasses are out with the guests, which is how my grandmother referred to her customers. My hands tremble. I'm failing at the task she wanted me to take over. Gigi would have handled a Friday afternoon record-breaking rush like this with ease and grace. I set a glass with ice cubes in front of Miss Brinker, who runs a software company based in town. I apologize, but this is all the ice we have for now. I'm making more. You're swamped, Boots, his daughter, says. She flicks her long black hair. But this'll do, thanks. She's a few years younger than me and is in college. I've changed since I lived here before. I now color my hair pink and wear a tiny diamond stud in my nose. When Gigi saw what I looked like when I came home, she burst into tears. You were perfect the way you were. She washed scone dough off her hands and gave me a huge hug. And I love you just the same. Needing drinking containers for the Robinsons, who are waiting in the parlor, I rummage through the dining room cupboards for champagne glasses. I take 2 shot glasses, a small pitcher, and a bud vase into the kitchen to wash them. As the water runs, I swallow. My throat is dry, but I don't have time to stop and quench my thirst. My grandmother would not be pleased with how I'm running her business. Not at all. But I'm doing the best I can with the questionable help I'm getting from my younger cousin. I bet she took off to see her new boyfriend, who I haven't met yet. I carry the odd assortment of drinking vessels to the parlor. I'm sorry, but this is all I have left to drink from. I didn't expect this many people on a Friday afternoon. Wanda Robinson reaches for the small pitcher. I'll use this one. What an unusual celebration this is turning out to be, isn't it? Mr. Robinson pops the cork and pours champagne. He raises his vase. A toast to Wanda for completing her MFA. I knew you could do it. MFA, her younger sister Maddie says, banging her fork on the table. MFA. My armpits are damp with sweat. I scurry around the cafe, serving scones and quiche and topping off cups of coffee. How did my grandmother do this for so many years? Gigi never complained. By the time I enter the dining room to check on the Brinkers, I'm out of breath. Boots holds up a red leather notebook. I found this while we were waiting. I got bored and looked around. It was in a drawer over there. My eyes grow wide. She opened a drawer below the mirror in the dining room, but her prying is my fault. I was overwhelmed with the overflow crowd and seated them in a private area of the house. I tried to turn Brinker away and told him to come back another day, but he slipped me a $10 bill. Brinker said, we were counting on eating your delicious scones and we're hungry. Couldn't you squeeze us in somewhere? Boots said, anywhere will be fine. We don't mind. Is the dining room open? Your grandmother let us sit there when all the other seats were taken. I tucked the money into my apron pocket, wiped my hands on my leather pants, and led them to the dining room table. Right this way, I said. Now I study the red leather diary. I haven't had the courage to comb through Gigi's things. This must be the journal she mentioned. I smile, thinking of how I'll examine it after I close the cafe for the day. My fingertips tingle. I reach out for the diary. I'll take it. Boots opens the book and points to a page. She said, there's an interesting part right here. The writer mentions a stock market crash and withdrawing money from the bank. They make it sound like the money is hidden somewhere. A murmur goes around the table. Guns, her brother, holds out a hand. Let me see it. Boots holds it away from him. I found it and I'm not finished with it. I glance over her shoulder at my grandmother's cursive writing and read Monday, October 19th, 1987. Stock market crash, emptied my bank account and put it somewhere safe. Blood whooshes in my ears. My grandmother never showed me her diary. She didn't mention hiding money. We could have used that when I was growing up. It might have put me through college. I'll take that, I say, but before I can grab it, a customer taps me on the shoulder. I'd like to pay, she says, tugging on a strand of long blonde hair. My son spilled hot chocolate all over. It's dripping on the carpet. I'm sorry, but we're in a hurry. We have to leave right now. I turn to Boots, who's reading the journal. It would be rude to wrest it out of her hands. I don't want word getting around town that I'm a poor substitute for my grandmother. I say, please give me the notebook. She shakes her head. I just want to read one more page. The woman taps me on the shoulder. Can you ring us up? We've got to go. I say to Boots, I've got to help this guest. Please leave the diary on the table when you go. Brinker says, pass it over. I'd like to take a look. Me too, Gunn says. Mopping up warm spilled cocoa, I wonder if it's true Gigi withdrew money from the bank. If so, did she put it back? I don't think she would hide it, but she did like treasure hunts when I was young. Guests line up to pay. By the time I get a chance to go into the dining room, the Brinkers have left. Mr. Brinker put a $50 bill under a water glass on the table. I shove the money into the pocket of my grandmother's flowered apron. The red journal is not on the table. Perhaps Boots put the notebook back where she found it. I yank open the drawer and paw through the contents, but I don't find the diary. With trembling hands, I open the other drawers and rifle through papers. I turn to the table, picking up napkins and peering under plates. I scan the room. There is no sign of the red leather journal. My heart thumps. Gigi's journal is missing. Her secrets and private thoughts will be spread all over town if I don't find it. When I packed up in Seattle and rushed home to Millersville because my grandmother was ill, Gigi held my hand and said, there's more hidden in this house than you realize. After I'm gone, look for clues. I put a hand on my forehead and groaned. What have I done? Just then, my younger cousin Lydia breezes through the front door. I had an errand to run. How's it going? My aunt doesn't like Lydia's new boyfriend, so Lydia has been sneaking around seeing him when she's scheduled to work for me. I hear he's my age, 24 years old, and I share my aunt's concern. Lydia just turned 18, and she is beautiful. Her skin glows and her hair shines. Don't slack off, I say, if you want to get paid by me and have money to attend community college. She flops in a chair. I can't help it. I'm in love. You wouldn't understand. Come on, we've got a lot of work to do. I head into the kitchen and a flicker of a frown crosses my face. I understood way more than she knows.